Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be all about finding the area and perimeter of shapes, including some SATs questions. So my Year 6s have taken home a SATs question booklet. If you've got one of those, you can actually go through the booklet as we go through the questions and check whether you've got the answers correct. Or even if there was a question there that you weren't too sure about, now's the time to check how you do it. Okay, so the first question. The area of a rugby pitch is 6,108 square metres. A football pitch measures 112 metres long and 182 metres wide. How much larger is the area of the football pitch than the area of the rugby pitch? Now, as you can see, I've identified some key information in those sentences just to make sure that I know what it is that I'm dealing with. So down below, you can see that I've drawn out, just to make my life a bit easier, the rugby pitch with its area of 6,108 metres squared, and then the football pitch the other side with the information that I know, which is that it has one length of 112 metres and one length of 182 metres. So, the first thing that I would need to do here is I would need to find out the area of the football pitch. Now I would do that by multiplying the base and the height together. So at the side, as you can see, I've done that there. I've done 112 multiplied by 82 and I have got the answer 9,184. So once I've found the area of the football pitch, I now know both areas. But that's not all the question's asking us to do. The end of the question says how much larger is the area of the football pitch than the area of the rugby pitch. So essentially it's asking you to find the difference between the two areas. Now straight away, if you hear that word difference in a maths question, you know that the method you're going to need to do is a subtraction. So I have here taken the smaller area, which is the area of the rugby pitch, away from the area of the football pitch, and I have got the answer 3,076. So that is your answer to the first question. Okay, the second question here is that these two shapes have the same perimeter. So we've got a regular hexagon and a square. Now a regular hexagon, any shape that has the word regular in front, means that all sides and angles are the same. So we've got a hexagon here which has got sides of 8 centimetres each. The question then asks us to calculate the area of the square. Now this question is worth 2 marks because there's actually quite a few steps that you have to do in order to get to the answer. So the first fact that we know to be true is that this shape here, the hexagon, has got all sides of 8 centimetres. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what the perimeter of that shape would be. Now I could do that by adding together 8 centimetres 6 times, or I could just do 8 times 6, which would give me the answer 48. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to find out what each side of my square is. Now I know both shapes have got the same perimeter, so that means that both the hexagon and the square will have a perimeter of 48 centimetres. Now the way that I can find out each length of my square is by dividing 48 by 4, because there are 4 equal sides on my square, which means that each side of that shape is going to be 12 centimetres. Once I know this, I can then do 12 times 12, which would be the base times the height of my square, which should give me the answer of 144. Unfortunately, in the question it already tells you that it's going to be centimetres squared, which we know happens when you find the area of your shape. Okay, so looking at the next question then, here are 5 triangles on a square grid. So straight away we know that we are going to be dealing with area of a triangle. Now the way that we do this, if you look to the right hand side of your screen, you can see that the area of a triangle is base times the height divided by 2. But an easier way to think about it is, if you look at the top shape, that triangle is exactly half of a rectangle. I've drawn my rectangle with a red line so that you can see it. So that means that I can find the area of that rectangle, and then in order just to find the area of the triangle, I would half it. So to find the area of that rectangle, I would multiply 1 and 5 together, which would give me the answer of 5. Then, to find the area of the triangle on its own, I would divide that by 2. Now I know that half of 5 is 2.5, so the area of my top triangle is 2.5. Okay, so now we know that the top one is 2.5, I then had a go at repeating that for the shapes down below. So I drew them out into a rectangle, which is not something that you need to do. If you're happy knowing that base times height and then half it, you don't need to draw the rectangles, that's more just for you to be able to see it. And as you can see, the remaining shapes have got an area of 3 centimetres squared. For example, if we had a look at E, I can see that the base of E is 2 squares, so 2 centimetres square, and the height of that triangle is 3 squares because it goes up 3 squares. So to find the area of the entire rectangle, I would do base times the height, which would be 2 times 3, which is 6. And then to find the area of the triangle, I would half that, which would give me the answer of 3. So in this entire question, it is A, which is the odd one out. Okay, so actually a nice easy one to follow up with. Here is a parallelogram. Can you calculate the area of the parallelogram? Now again, a parallelogram is just almost a tilted rectangle. It still follows the exact same rules of base times the height. So here, the base of my parallelogram, is 5 centimetres. The height of my parallelogram is 3 centimetres, not to be confused with the 4 centimetre diagonal line. So therefore, just to find the area of times 3, which is 15 centimetres squared. Okay, next question then. 2 rectangles each have the same area. We've got rectangle A and rectangle B. Which shape has got the largest perimeter? So that deals with having to move between area and perimeter. So the first thing that I know is true is I know that rectangle A will have an area of 12 centimetres. I know this because I have done 2.4 multiplied by 5 and I have got the answer 12. So then what I would do is I would use knowing the fact that they have the same area to help me find my missing sides with rectangle B. So I know that if I have a rectangle which has got an area of 12 centimetres and the base is 6, I need to find out what my missing height is. So at the bottom you can see we've got mystery number multiplied by 6 equals 12 centimetres squared. So we have to find out that mystery number. Okay, so I know 2 times 6 is 12, which means that my height must be 2 centimetres. Now in order to find the perimeter of rectangle B, I would add 6 and 6 together and 2 and 2 together, because remember, to find the perimeter you add together all 4 sides, which would give me a perimeter of 16 centimetres. I then need to find out which shape has got the largest perimeter. So I'm going to go back to rectangle A, and I'm going to do 2.4 add 2.4 and 5 add 5 and then add them together, which would give me the perimeter of 14.8, which clearly means that rectangle B is the rectangle that has got the largest perimeter. Okay, so last question then. I quite like this one because it's a compound shape. So a compound shape is where you have 2 shapes which add together to make one larger one. However, the only issue with this one is we have got some sides missing, but not to worry, we can find them out using the information that we already know. So the first question is asking me to find the perimeter of the figure. As you can see here, I have added together the sides that I know to find the missing sides. So for example, I knew that the side on the left was 11 centimetres because it is the same as the 6 centimetre line and the 5 centimetre line added together. It makes up the same side. That is exactly the same for the bottom line. So the 7 centimetres is made by the 4 centimetre line and the 3 centimetre line added together. So again, to give me 7. Now again, to find perimeter, nice and easy, all I would do is add together all the sides. So it would look like this. This is my addition where all my sides are added together, so I would get the answer of 36 for my perimeter. Okay, now it's asking me to find the area. Now this one's slightly more tricky. What I would do for this one is I would divide this into two separate shapes. Find the area of both rectangles and then add them together. So as you can see, I've split my shape into two rectangles. It would have worked exactly the same the other way around if you'd have split your line going across rather than down. Now the first one that I've got to do is 11 multiplied by 3 to find the area of the first shape, which would give me 33 centimetres squared. I would then do 4 multiplied by 5 to find the area of the second rectangle, which would give me an area of 20 centimetres squared. And then what I have to do to those two numbers then is I have to add them together in order to find the total area of both shapes. So the final part of this question then is asking how much greater is the area of the figure than its perimeter. So again, if it's asking you to do that, it's asking you to find the difference between the two numbers, and straight away that word difference should ding 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 in your mind that you are going to do a subtraction. So it's going to be 53 subtract 36 equals 17. So there you go, guys. Well done if you've managed to get those ones right and you've had a go in your booklet. Comment down below to tell me how you found it, and keep it tuned for future videos.